Hey guys, Sav here, and today we're just going to do a recap of my Let's Play series and talk a little bit about the future. I didn't have any game footage to recorded for this, so we're just going to stand here in the background, unfortunately, and just listen to me talk. Basically, what I wanted to do is I did quite a bit of complaining while I was playing through the Heart of Thorns story mode, so I just kind of want to go over why I was complaining and my overall thoughts, not so much on the expansion, but on the story mode in general. Let's face it, the story mode was, for a $50 expansion, was short. 16 chapters. Of those 16 chapters, some of those chapters were literally just me running from point A to point B, or being forced to explore the maps. Obviously, there's other things I could say about $50 expansion, and there only being 4 maps, but that's neither here nor there. The maps, at least, are good. They're very large, detailed. Lots going on these maps. But we're not really talking about that. We're talking about the story, and as far as the story, I mean, it's just way too short. Way too short. In my opinion, there's 4 acts of the story. I don't know. Basically, all the different acts took place on all the different maps. So the first act was on Verdant Brink. Second act was in Ark Basin, and etc. And I thought the first act started really well. To be honest with you, I was really excited where the story was going after doing the first act. We did the second act, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was okay. Again, it was happening in Ark Brink, not Ark, Verdant Brink as well. There was there was a couple of run around missions, run from point A to point B. Then we get to Act 3 of the story, and that's just where everything just started falling apart for me. The pacing, that's not even really where the problem began. Because I still think the pacing was okay to this point. I didn't think it was great. It was maybe a little fast. But I think the whole Radanova's story arc was, to me, I mean, it was good, except basically the ending to it. And the whole thing we went there for was to try to, we were trying to find allies maybe, and we're trying to find a way to kill the Elder Dragons, and we found out that the Elder Dragons have a weakness. A fucking weakness. That's all we found out. They have a fucking weakness. Are you kidding me? With a weakness? Like, you just couldn't come up with anything? So, well, the Elder Dragons have a weakness. You just have to figure it out for yourself. Oh, okay. A weakness. We came all the way here. We had this whole big part of the story arc to find out that the Elder Dragon has a weakness. So that basically annoyed the shit out of me. Not to mention the character Timey annoys the shit out of me anyway. And that whole basically act of the story was revolved around her. Yeah. The dragons have a weakness. And then you get to Act 4, and all of a sudden it's like we went into turbo mode. Like, we went from finding out the dragon has a weakness to, okay, time to fight the dragon. Like, what? We still don't know how to beat the dragon. Let's just go head first and go. I don't know. The pacing really, like, to me, it was just clunky. I felt like they could have done more in Tangled Depths. I don't know. And the whole, like, I had mentioned it while I was recording that part of the story. People were calling it a Deus Ex Machina, which I don't know what the hell that really means, but basically what it means is they basically couldn't come up with anything, so they just made this circumstance that we never knew was possible before, that now is suddenly possible, so that you can finish the story, basically. And that was entering the dream. Since when have we ever been able to enter the dream? When did this ever occur anywhere else in the story? When did this ever mention that this was possible? This is just a new thing, and suddenly, me, a human character, can enter the Sylvari dream. Which, by the way, the Sylvari all wake up from the dream when they're born, and there's no mention of the Sylvari even being able to go back into the dream. And I think there's a little bit of precedence of the Mother Tree being able to take people into the dream. I want to say that part in the story mode with Zaitan before going to fight Zaitan, where you have like the look into the future. I want to say that was part of the dream. I'm not even 100% sure. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But since when is Traherne be able to take you into the dream? Seriously, because he's hooked up to the to his actual creator, and now all of a sudden he's able to bring you into the dream. I mean, anybody else see a problem with this? I see. There's obviously a huge problem with that to me. It just doesn't make any sense. And then you kill Traherne, like the most obvious, painfully, blatantly, because the community hates Traherne way. Like, here, take his own sword and kill him. I don't know. Like, if I'm not mad that we killed Traherne, but I don't know. I would have liked to see him die a different way, I guess, if he was going to die. Speaking of deaths, the whole air death and the press F to show respect. I don't know. They could have done. I don't know. They could have done something else. They should have. I mean, to me, that should be like a whole like flashback cutscene. This is all that Aer's ever done for you. You know, she was there with Zaitan. She helped you with this and was there along the way, and maybe even go back further to when they fought Krakatork in the book before the game. And I don't know. They could have done something else. Maybe even like we could have followed Bram for a scene or two as he pays his actual like Norn respects to his mother. I don't fucking know. And I find myself saying that a lot by a lot of things in the story. I will say this: the story was like the cutscenes and all that were really great. Like I really liked the way they did the story, as far as that's concerned, with the cutscenes and like a lot of the story missions themselves were long and they were semi-challenging, and like I said, there was no like side to side view with you and somebody talking. It was, you were talking as you were moving around. Like I didn't have to, for the most part, I didn't have to stop and click on NPCs and read it. Like my actual player character spoke most of the lines, and the people that she was talking to spoke back to them. That was good. I liked that. So I think so I like that part of it. But the scope of the story was just, maybe it was good that it was so focused, the scope, but I still feel like it could have been that focused and been fleshed out a lot more, and you could have had more missions, like maybe 16 actual missions instead of run from point A to point B. They never forced you to run to point A to point B before. They just put the star on the map, and that's where you had to go to do your next part of the story. That wasn't an actual chapter of the story. I don't know. I mean, it's just me. It's not just me though. It's the community in general. You read it on Reddit. You watch other people's videos. A lot of people were just not happy with the story for the most part. Now you look at the expansion as a whole, and there's only 4 maps, but the maps are done well. The maps are fun. The maps are good. Though a lot of people complain about the timers on the maps and how you always feel like you got to punch a time card to get into a map, and you always have to use the LFG system to taxi into a map. Like a lot of people are annoyed with that. But for the most part, the maps are good. There's only 4 of them. The story mission was way too short. There's some good things. People like the look of the guild halls. The guild halls themselves are very difficult and they're basically money sinks to upgrade. Big time money sinks, by the way, especially with the scribing profession. The scribing profession is just outlandishly expensive right now. I don't think it'll be like that forever, but for now, it's just ridiculously expensive. At World v World, the new Borderlands map, everybody in World v World hates that freaking map. So what else do we get with these? Everybody likes the elite specializations, but hey, they're nerfing some of them next week, so we'll see how long that continues. Listening to all this, you would think my outlook on the game is pretty shitty, and it's really not. I still play the game every day. I kind of wish they didn't nerf dungeons like they did, because I have no desire to do dungeons anymore, because they just don't reward me anymore. I do fractals every day, but they're basically just swamps in the mist now. You do as many swamps as you can to get them over with as quick as possible. There's no I mean, there's no reason to do anything besides the swamps. I mean, unless you, like, there's no reward for doing it. Well, there is, I guess, a smaller reward, but I don't know. Like, I have no desire to get to 100 fractal level. Like, I'm just fine being able to do 56, 67, 77 every day and get my chance and ascendant drop and get on with my life. And 56, 67, and 77 are swamp. And one of them is Blue Hunger, the other two are you basically cheese Moss Man on top of a roof. Maybe I'll do a Let's Play on that at one point. That'll be a real high quality video there. No, I won't. I'll spare you guys, to be honest with you. So anyway, the future. They said a couple weeks ago that the Living Story Season 3 is not coming out before March. So sometime after March, we will pick up with this Let's Play with the story mode. I don't see a point in doing Let's Play of anything else right now. I don't think you guys want to watch me just do map completion, to be honest with you. And my Let's Play since I beat basically since I've been level 80 has been nothing but story mode. I wanted to document getting to level 80, and then I wanted to just do story mode, and that's what we did. Yes, there were videos where I said I would come back to this or come back to that, but that's just not going to happen, guys. I'm not going to go back and do map completion when I'm level 80 and record it and put videos out for it when nobody cares at this point. Let's face it. So we'll be back after March when they start doing Living World Season 3. So every time there's a new chapter of that story, we will do however many Let's Plays of that, and that's how this series will continue. I do think I will throw something in here and there. Maybe when they fix fractals, maybe or make fractals more interesting. Maybe I'll do some of that. Maybe I'll do some of the dungeons at some point that I never did. Maybe I'm not in a rush to do it. However, what I probably will start doing is I do intend on starting a new series, and it's not going to be Guild Wars related. It's going to be a new Let's Play series of another game that's been out for a while now, and maybe I'm behind the ball on it, but something I kind of want to do, and something that will encourage me to play this game that I got for a Christmas present, and that game is Fallout 4. I love the game. It's a lot of fun, but I don't play it much right now because I've wanted to basically finish up my Let's Play of Guild Wars 2, and I kind of need some motivation to do something besides play Guild Wars 2, I think. So I think that'll help with that, obviously. So I'm going to start a new character in that and play from beginning to end, trying to stay as much to the main story as possible, but I'll do some side quests as well, and we'll see what happens with that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I hope you guys want to watch that, and I hope, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Whatever. Like I said, I've never done this channel for any reason other than to basically entertain myself. And if I'm entertaining other people in the meantime, that's great. So that's it, guys. As far as Guild Wars 2 goes, I will hopefully see you guys in April. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And we'll see you guys with my new Fallout series. Hopefully in the near future. I don't know if I'm going to do 5 days a week uploads on that yet. I haven't decided yet. So it might I might go back to my 3-day schedule. Monday, Wednesday, Friday with that, for at least to begin, and see how long that takes me. And we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys in that. Hopefully, maybe not next week. I might take a week off and at least get some footage before we start. But if not, the following week. I'll see you guys then.